Good morning, everybody.
Let's say, da 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 da. Welcome to Dave TV. How you doing, everybody? Got another pair of the camo cutoffs today. I got a number of pairs of these. As we enjoy a Memorial Day weekend here at the DCRTV Ranch, it is the 25th of May, which makes Christmas. What does that make? Christmas 7 months away. So get your Christmas shopping done pretty quickly. I'm noticing in the Washington Post magazine this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, the sun's coming in at an odd angle here. Really, look at that. Anyhow, the Washington Post magazine, interesting, got a couple of media stories in it. One of them is they actually, the Washington Post used to years ago have a weekly radio column where they would report about the ratings and the updates and stuff like that. And they got rid of that. So they actually today have a listing of the top, if you can see that there. Yeah, the sun is really bad today. Look at that. The top 10 morning radio shows in Washington. So at least maybe once or twice a year we'll get this. And a little bit of funny stuff about them. This was from, the interesting thing is, this is the late May edition. This is the May 25th edition of the Washington Post magazine. So you'd think, okay, they'd have the April ratings in, wouldn't you? No, they have the March ratings. The March. So rather than picking the latest ratings, which would be very easy to do because they came out, like a week or two ago, now they have the March ratings in here. And I guess it's the 6+ demo. They don't say that in here, but that's what it is. And WTOP's first, WAMU second, Hot 99.5's third, MMJ's fourth, HUR's fifth, MAL sixth, WASH is seventh, Big is eighth. Big is eighth, JFK is ninth, and PRS and ID are 10th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah, tied for 10. Okay. So there's the numbers, and then they give you a little bit of breakdown. They give a breakdown about NPR's. They say WAMU show. They bring a little breakdown here about WTOP and how Neil Augenstein is the star correspondent, and Kane. They give the ages. Kane is 37. Of course, we won't say his real name. And then they give you how many Twitter followers each one has, as if that's relevant. The Kane Show has 111,000 Twitter followers, but Neil Augenstein only has 5,700. And Mornings on the Mall with Brian Wilson, he's 58 and has 12,000 Twitter followers. And Larry O'Connor is 40. He's 46. He's older than I thought. 46 with 17,600 Twitter followers. Chris Plant at 54 has 12 Twitter followers. The Sports Junkies doesn't give their ages. See, now that's funny. The Kane Show gives their ages, and Neil Augenstein gives his age, and the NPR people, it gives their ages, and it gives their ages there. But it does, okay, it says they're all born in 1970, so I guess you got to do the math, right? So if they're all born in 1970, that means they're 40, somewhere in their early 40s. But anyhow, a number of Twitter followers. I always say, you can buy Twitter followers. You can go to various services and they will just sign up a bunch of deadheads on your, you can jack that number up. It doesn't mean anything. You can have, I don't do that. I just say, I don't really care how many Twitter followers I have. And, I put stuff up on Twitter. If people want to follow it, fine. If they don't, it's not like a pissing contest, so. But you can do that. There are services out there where you want 10,000 Twitter followers or 100,000 Twitter followers. You pay a number and they'll sign up a bunch of things on your account. And, they're not real people. But, when people go to your Twitter page, it'll, oh, look, Joe Schmo's got 56,000 Twitter followers. He must be popular. But you can do that. So the number of Twitter followers really is BS because it's manipulatable. It doesn't mean really anything. And an interesting thing in the Post today, too, also a nice little piece here about about NBC4 reporter Shomari Stone. And good question here. So don't you want to just shove Jim and Doreen out of their anchor seats? Oh my goodness, no, no, no. I don't know. It's funny to see the Post when they actually drop a little thing about local media. As I said, they used to cover it really well. They used to have a daily TV column. They cover remember John Carmody and later Lisa DeMarais, who kind of veered off into just national stuff. I even miss Lisa DeMarais stuff. Now that she's gone. Poor Lisa. But anyhow, the interesting thing is, if you wanted to, those were the Washington Post did the March numbers. So here's the April numbers. So these are the more current numbers. If you want to see for Morning Drive, the top shows in the DC market. And as we say, compared with April or compared with March, the top are pretty much the same. TOP, AMU second, Hot 95 third, MMJ fourth, HUR fifth, MAL sixth, WASH seventh. Then we get changes. Okay, these stations were in the top 10 back in March. Now they're not. Fresh 94.7 is down to 11th. Big is 12th. PRS is 13th. And we've got GTS and WITA and WWDC, DC 101 tied for 9th. So a couple changes there. But at least I guess the Washington Post, if you're gonna do that, why not at least do the latest numbers? I don't know. Go figure. Whatever. So anyhow, I've been spending a lot of time doing stuff like online. I did Netflix, and now I'm doing this. This is the Comcast website. I go there and watch TV shows, and I'll tell you, it's a maddening experience many times. You put on a show, you click on a show, if it's on there. Sometimes the shows don't get added until 3 or 4 days after the broadcast. But anyhow, if you find one you like, you put it on, and it skips all over the place. Sometimes it'll start, and then it'll break, and then there'll be like 3 of the same ads. There'll be like an Xfinity ad for their X1 DVR, and they'll run it, and then it will run again, and then it will run again. And then the show will come back on, but it will be back to the chunk you already watched and repeat a segment, and then they'll run those 3 ads again. And if you try to fast forward around that and go to the second part of the show, it doesn't let you do that, and it locks up, and then you can finally get into the second part of the show and you watch that, and then they'll run those same 3 ads again, but this time they'll throw in an ad for some other product that's really loud, like twice the volume of something else, and then you go to the third part of the show, and then it will stutter and stop, and then back up again, back to the second part of the show. I mean, you're sitting there fiddling with it the whole time, and it's just maddening. And that's typical. It more often than not doesn't work. So I don't know. So anyhow, so that's why Comcast is evil. Yeah, they're going to be merging. They're trying to merge with Time Warner. It's one bad company and another bad company making another really big bad company. I don't know. I really think the FCC ought to say no to all this. We need more competition, not less, and all these giant mergers of big companies. It was interesting. There was an article in Huffington Post the other day about food, and it was saying, you go in a grocery store and you see all these different products and brands, and you go to frozen pizzas and there's 20 different kinds of frozen pizzas, and you go to sodas and there's 25, 30, 50 different sodas, but the thing is they're all made by one of 3 or 4 companies. There's a handful of companies that make all the products. And all these different brands are all like one giant company. And you say the same thing in television. All these networks, you got hundreds of cable channels, and you think, oh, look at all the competition, and you suddenly realize that it's only 4 or 5 companies that run all those channels. And it's like a day. It's like really when you go back to the day when you had 5 or 6 TV channels and they were all owned by separate companies, and you still have those 5 companies, but they're owning 300 channels. So basically, it's the same thing, duh. But I think the FCC ought to say no to that Time Warner Comcast merger. I think that's bad news for everybody, especially the customers. Jessica Doyle, big news we broke last week. Jessica Doyle is leaving Channel 9 WUSA. She's going to head up to New York to Director of Corporate Communications for Starwood Hotels. Interesting thing with Jessica. Remember the old WWT and Washington Post radio? She worked on those. I do remember her. She was one of the hosts on the Washington Post radio back in, I think it was 2006 or 7. WTOP got together with the Post and they launched that Washington Post radio. And, as I say today, it could have worked. It could have worked had they not modeled it after an all news station. I think if the Washington Post had partnered with WETA instead, a public radio outlet, and then did more of a full service type of station and not just a newser, like an NPR-ish format, but with music and did a whole bunch of other things and talk and mixed it all up. It made a really cool first full service public radio sounding station. I think it would have been a much better chance of survival than just going for a kind of a news talk station with commercial sensibilities like they did back in 2007. So, I don't know. That's just my thing. A lot of these ideas, a lot of radio guys come up, you have these cool ideas and then they just flounder because something was missing. I see that in a lot of things. I see that, remember the Globe, CBS launched the Globe, that alt rocker there on 94.7 back, I think it was 2009, was it, or 8? I don't remember. 7 maybe. I don't know. It's a cool station and they just let it fall apart. What are you going to do? Some other big news, Mark Zinno, 105.7. He's been in Baltimore radio for quite a while now. He's leaving for Atlanta. He's going to he's working at CBS Sports Talker 105.7 in Baltimore. He's going to go down to the CBS Sports Talker in Atlanta, WZGCU 92.9 The Game, and he'll be starting there in early June. Poor old Howie Bernstein, the weatherman there morning weatherman there at Channel 9, was visiting family in Birmingham, Alabama. Reached down to pick up something off the floor, and the dog came. I guess the dog was all hyper and bit him in the face. They rushed him off to the ER, but anyhow, he's healing well. But again, if you're a TV dude, you don't want to have big scars on your face. I remember when I was a little kid, we had a Cocker Spaniel, and very hyper little dog. And I was a little, I was 5 or 6, and I was playing with the dog while he was eating, and the dog didn't like that, and he bit me in the face. My parents took the dog back because they had just gotten him from some kennel, and we all felt really bad the next day. Oh, we liked our little doggy, so we got him back. And he lived to be a ripe old age. He bit people, though. Not a friendly little dog. All right, folks. Thanks for watching Dave TV. Hope you're having a happy Memorial Day weekend. I am. Don't forget to help support the website. Still, we have a couple more days left for the month of May. $29 gets you 2 years of DCR TV Plus. So just make a donation. Click on that support linky dinky thing at the top of DCR TV. Thanks for watching Dave TV for this 25th of May, 2014. Book of Dano.